Hello everyone. So my laptop was glitching as soon as we went live, so sorry for that. And a very good evening to all of you who have joined us today for the fourth installment in GDSC Kalindi's Flutter Festival 2022. So first of all, I would like to hear from the audience. How are you guys today? How is your weekend going? How was your Holi? Anything you'd like to share with us? You can just drop it in the chat box. Excited for the event, Vaikansha. Us too. Okay, so we're still waiting for more people to join. Oh, it went in assignment. Same Sharon now. People from Kalindi, yes. How was your break? Excited for tomorrow to go back to college? So, since this is part of the Flutter Festival, I would like to ask everyone that have you already registered for the Flutter Festival? Because there have been great opportunities to learn about Flutter, and there will be more in the future too. So, have you registered for the Flutter Festival? And we have also, conducted sessions previously on Flutter. We have had 3 sessions. This is our fourth one today. So if you have not registered and would like to, we will share the link in the description, and we will also share the playlist that we have for Flutter Festival 2022. So you can, just go over all the sessions that we've had previously. Also, I would like to ask that how did you get to know about Flutter Festival? Like, was it through GDSC Kalindi or through one of the GDSCs that we're collaborating with? We have 25 other GDSCs with us for Flutter Festival this year. And did you get to know about it through LinkedIn or through word of mouth? Just tell us how you got to know about us. And if you're, new here, this is the first event that you're attending through with GDSC Kalindi, you can connect with us. We have all of our socials. We are on Discord. We have a Telegram channel and LinkedIn too. We'll drop a link to all of our socials in the description too. You can join us, and you're welcome to stay for all the events that we have in the future. Now, I have talked enough for today, and I feel like it's time to introduce the star of the hour. So we have Kamal ma'am with us. Hello, Kamal ma'am. How are you today?
I'm good, Arpita. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm good too. We would like to thank you for joining GDSC Kalindi in today's session, and uh, in educating our audience about Flutter and everything and all the amazing things that they can do with Flutter.
Definitely. I'll do my part. And hopefully, this was offline. Could have met a lot of people, but still online. I think you can pour in your chat. We can get connected. Hopefully, soon try to meet you guys offline.
Yes, ma'am. We would also wish that we can meet you offline soon. Let's hope that we can meet with Kamal ma'am offline soon and connect with her. We have all of her, socials. We'll drop them in the chat box too. You can connect with Kamal ma'am too. So just a little about Kamal ma'am, because it would take me an entire hour or even days to, just mention all of the things if I get to it. So just, a quick introduction. So Kamal ma'am is a Google developer expert in Flutter as well as Dart. She has 12 years of experience in web technologies, Android, and Flutter under her belt, and has worked for multinational firms in India, the Netherlands, and the United States of America. She's also a YouTuber. Her YouTube channel is called WhatsApp Coders, and it's a great resource for all of you who want to learn more about Flutter. She post tutorials on there, and you should definitely check it out. We'll drop the link to that too. And in addition to that, she's also a mentor at Mentor Cruise and an open source community builder. And today she's here with us to guide us and tell us about how low code development platforms can help you accelerate your design process at digital speed and build your idea insanely fast with FlutterFlow. So, over to Kamal ma'am, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Arpita. That was a really good shout out. Glad to hear about it. Kind of refreshed my past, what I did. So, yeah, thank you so much. So, let me not make the audience wait more. So, I'll quickly share my screen and start with it. All right. So, Arpita, you can see my presenting screen, right?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Arpita?
Yes, ma'am, I can see it.
All right, great. All right, so good evening, everybody. Firstly, thank you so much for coming in today on a Sunday. I totally agree. Weekends, it's always a personal time, but still, if people have come in to join in, so definitely I'm going to do the justification from my side so that at the end of the session, you would have a feel that, yes, I'm going to try this and see what innovative I can come up using Flutter. So the today's topic is not like the usual one which talks about what's best about Flutter, because I'm sure the audience must have tried Flutter, a lot of widgets, state management, best practice. So it's not like the usual one where I'm going to talk more about Flutter. Yes, Flutter will be there, but there are small things like this tools or tips or tricks that actually make someone unique or stand out in the crowd. So that's what I'm going to talk about. And that one such tool is FlutterFlow, and I was really amazed by the powerful tool. Wish I could have knew this while I was designing app, because when I was designing app I used to from scratch started from widgets do it, but this tool is exclusively for Flutter developer, and it's going to make your job easy. So today you're going to see how to use it and work on with it. And I'm not going to talk about me because Arpita has done the justification to it, so I'm just going to skip this slide. But definitely I'll leave all the social handles where you can get connected to me post the session, and I think Arpita will be dropping in the chat. Yeah. So today's agenda is pretty simple and straightforward, where I'll talk about the importance of design process. Now, why do I say design process is, as a developer, it's just not know the language, know the concepts, finish any kind of development and move on with your life. No, it's about understanding every phase of their life, because it's not that you always gonna be a developer, right? You might become a project manager, you might become a program manager, or you might even become a delivery head, right? So there are a lot of aspects that you need to know when you go on to the next stage. You can't say that, no, I was a developer, I knew only the development, I'm going to stick to it. Okay, you're going to stick to for maybe 5 or 6 years, but after that you have to move on, right? So when you move on to a level called product manager or a program manager, definitely the clients would come up asking with a lot of questions like, why did you choose this design, why this tool? So there would be a lot of probing question kind of scenarios to you. So you should be prepared enough or well prepared to know these kind of answers. So it's also important to understand this, because this is the initial stage of any development, which is exclusively I'm talking in terms of Flutter. Types of designing app. Why should I always go with one particular type of tool? So always kind of pose these questions to yourself before concluding something. It's nothing wrong. The more you analyze, the more better you come up with solution, the more you're delighting your customer with a innovative solution. Then we're going to talk about FlutterFlow, the features of it. And it kind of speaks the language of Flutter. That's the best part, like template pages, components, widgets. And then I'm going to talk about Firebase, because whenever you're building something, you need a backend, and how this tool makes it really smooth for us to get those things integrated. Testing. Testing is something which most of the developers do not give concentration on it. Just like design process. All they do is know about a tech stack, happy about it, try out, finish it off. and published it on the Play Store. I've seen so many apps still are not aesthetically appealing. But yeah, functionality wise, it works fine. When I download an app, the app looks absolutely stunning with the functionality, but the UI lacks over there. And also, there are developers who do not know the latest release. It's always good to know the latest release, what's happening in that particular tool, whether it could be technology or a tool or any other tech stack. It's always good and important to know what are the releases. So coming to the importance of design process. Now, say for example, I go talk to a developer and I say, he's gonna say, you know what, Kamal, I have done this app and I've built this app. It's kind of easier payments, and when you click over here, the OTP comes. I can move on to the payment screen. Then it gives me an option of all the list of banks, everything. Verbally, this sounds nice, but when it comes to the UI, that's where it actually plays the critical role. Now, if I'm going to explain these kind of technical jargons, these kind of functionality to a client, you know what he's going to say? He's going to stop you at the second minute itself. He's going to say, you know what? Can I get something to see so that I understand visually? So it's always good to understand how to present something. So visual plays a very important role. So importance of designing is always define. Define what exactly you want to get an output. It could be a functionality or it could be a design. The moment you get a request or a proposal from the client, do not jump into conclusions of designing everything. You'll have to identify, why am I doing this? What are the things I need? Is it really possible or not? There are so many people just say yes for everything whatever the client says. Sometimes it's good to say no also, because if it's a functionality which is not going to be used here, you don't have to even think about it. Say for example, when I was building apps, my client asked me, "Can I get the Apple ID also integrated, and can I get this more oriented to Apple related features and all?" Then I had to think. Then I had to ask the client, "Who are your audience? Who's going to use this app?" He said, "It's going to be from India." Then I said, "If according to India, if it is, after a couple of analysis, I see 85 to 90% of users are Android developers. I mean, Android users. Why would I add Apple features when the market of, I mean, the people who are using iPhones are just 10 to 50%? Hardly maybe 7 to 8% might use this app and on iPhone. So most of my target audience is Android. So I would focus more on the Android. So coming up with these kind of plausible explanation makes the client also happy, understand his requirement. Okay, my market and the audience is Android at the moment. Maybe when it may the app kind of grows, then I might get into Android part. So these are the kind of things that you have to identify, not only in terms of the analytical purpose, but also in the technical aspects. Also, you have to think, what kind of database am I going to use? How many requests is going to come? What time is the request more, during the daytime or during the peak hours, or is it in the night time? So understand all this and then come to an UI. Because the moment I say, can you come up with an app, people start with the UI, with the recycler view, list view, grid, card, and they say, okay, we are done. But in the back end, nobody does these kind of analysis. So that's called the brainstorming. Always do brainstorming. If you're a team, it's well and good. If you're a single person working on the app, still do a brainstorming session. Have the sticky notes. Write these questions, assuming that you're the customer, you're paying money to someone to make this app. What kind of questions you would pose? Prototype. Testing involves in all stages. It's not only at the final stage. Testing comes even at the design phase also. So design phase itself is another huge theory, like how developers are doing it. So this process has to be repeated for every functionality you're designing on your app. So if someone asks me, can you please design a to-do task or something like this is how people used to come up with design, the old school style of that green blue, a grid view kind of thing, or a list view, a simple editor on the top with a pen mark. This was absolutely fine when it was way back, with not much of smartphone features, not much of apps. It was good. But now things have changed. People are looking for everything but still minimal, but still appealing. So how are we going to satisfy the client? Because at the end of the day, customer is paying us to do something, right? So we'll have to come up with innovative design. Now the same thing, if I'll have to look at this part, you can see that I have all the features that I'm looking for, but still I was able to do it. So I have the image of the rest tree house. I have a favorite icon. I have something to download. I have the description. I have how many guests, bedroom. Instead of having it like kind of a row element, not row, I would say column element, one below the other. You see how they have kind of arranged it next to each other, giving all the information, location, how much per night, check the availability. So, and even at the second screen, if you look at the dark mode, you can see the star effect. You can give a feedback, how many people have given the feedback, and who's the person who's owning it. So, this is the kind of design people are looking for. I need all the aspects covered, but still keeping it minimal, uh, readable, and actually viewable. That is also very important. And following some kind of themes. I do not find people these days following any themes at all. All they do is they have a design, I'm good to go. Start working on it. So always follow that standard procedure. So themes, as I discussed about themes, themes is also a very important aspect. Now, how when you design Flutter app, you say state management. I keep getting tons of questions whenever I'm kind of going to a conference or meet a person. The first question that again I get posed is, what is the best state management? Which tool to use? What do I do with this? Which is the better one? Is it the column widget, the row widget? Yes, definitely there are answers for it, but at the same time there are few things that you'll have to follow when you're developing apps, not only Flutter. Let's keep it general, whether it's a React or any other app. Follow a theme process is very important. Even if it's a simple application with just 10 screens, keep themes. I don't see, whenever I review codes, I don't see a folder called theme itself. They add the themes in line on the widget itself. There itself, they add the font, color, everything. In case if I have to change something, I'll have to go through or skim through all the screen to change it. So that's not an effective way of doing. So always, whenever you start a project, understand your idea, what exactly you're doing, do the analysis, take some time, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, do the analysis, come up with the themes, come up with your assets, icons, fonts. Nobody thinks about fonts itself. All they use is just use the normal font by default. Then store the images. What are the icons I need? Do I need to add accessibility? Am I supporting only one kind of device? In general, I'm talking about. So, and routes, do I need to add routes to the Flutter app or not? So only when you do these like 5 to 10 checklist, then think about the functionality. Anyway, you're going to crack the functionality. It's not that you're not, but these things also play a very important role. So same thing, similar way. Again, I have one more theme. All I use just three colors. One is the green, a little bit of gradient side, yellow, gray. That's it. So it looks so pleasing, so nice. Even though it's a very simple app that I'm trying to do here, it's a social networking app. It looks clean and neat. And I know that this is kind of, if I'm going to change, maybe after 2 3 months the client comes saying, okay, you know what, the CEO kind of changed his mind and he wants everything to red color now, with this is the color, can you please change it? I know it's going to take like a 1 day task if it is kind of given to someone with hundreds of screen. But if that person knew where to change it on one screen, one line, just one variable, it's just 30 minutes of job to push it from the um, development mode to the production mode. So that's how efficient people are looking to work on projects. It should not be that people should know. It should not be that you name a file something else and then nobody knows, because you're not the only person going to work on it, right? You would have multiple people working on the project. And it's not that always you're the one who created the theme will be the person changing the theme also. That might be assigned to someone else. It should not be that he should come back asking, okay, Kamal, where can I find the theme? I see that you're the one who created it. No. Why would you do that? Already you would be piled up with so much of work, right? So ensure that you have a proper naming convention of your file, add comments, have proper documentation so that the person just goes through the knowledge base and understand where he has to do. Despite of or doing all those things, if he's still not able to do it, that's when he has to get in touch with you. So one more such design, very clean design, nothing complicated. Design process is also an art. If the client gives you a requirement, it's not that you have to add all the details in the screen. It's not necessary. Say, for example, I just need to order a coffee. For a coffee, all I need is the kind of coffee that I'm ordering, the description about it, quantity, and then the price. If I really want to know more about it, then maybe I'll have to have an arrow or something, read more or something like that. It's not that I have to feed in all or ensure that everywhere I have all the information on the screen. Minimal also is the beauty of apps. So keep it minimal. Do not add very bright colors unless your client really requires. Follow a theme and then start designing it. So these are also a couple of things that you'll have to think about while you're designing apps. So until now, I've told you the importance of designing, right? What you have to do before you even start. Now, definitely there are a lot of designing apps. Now, whenever I say I'm going to give you an competition, okay, I'm going to give you 48 hours. Can you come up with an app? And this is the theme. So definitely you might kind of say build up a team, say, okay, the first person, can you start up with the designing? We're going to work on the database. Another person is going to work on the functionality. This is how it's going to go, right? It's very crucial that you have the time less. So the designing app, there are different types of designing apps. Now, this is not the right way, this is not the wrong way or something. This is my experience. It's purely what I have worked, my experience, and I'm sharing. So there are a couple of ways of doing it. One is App Mission, easy, thunkable, Adobe XD, which is the Flutter plugin available. So if you're more of a graphic designer, web designer, you might have your own preferences of designing apps, or you might just have a simple paper and pen, just draw it there and then try to kind of replicate it on your screen. These are also ways of doing it, but these are some of the traditional ways and approaches people are following it actually. So if I have to talk about this app mission, it's absolutely fine. Trust me, it's nice. Where it's this drag and drop, easy to use, but definitely there are some cons in it. I'm going to address that in the end. But this is also one way of doing it. But when compared to what we are going to talk about, FlutterFlow or other things, it's far better, other tools. So this was initially created, maybe now new features are added, but this is one way of dragging and dropping a simple old style 2010 kind of model phones. Then we have something called Thunkable, a little more advanced, a little more pleasing effect, a little more drag and drop list viewer button, a more of tech. It kind of speaks the language of tech, right? What I'm still a huge fan of Adobe or whatever it is, but when it comes to when I'm designing something, I'm not going to learn that language again just to design an app. I know how it's going to look visually. So that's how the tool has to be, should be easy to me. Okay. Now, if you ask me about Adobe XD, I'm not going to sit and learn each and everything about how to crop it, how to kind of minimize those things, because the functionality itself is going to take some time for me, right? So, this itself is going to take time again. So, people do not spend too much of time. So, that's the reason we have a simple Flutter plugin. All you have to do is install it here and then show your Adobe skills here, and then whatever design you do it, when you say export, everything gets kind of exported to your um, code with the color, translate everything, and it speaks more of a Adobe XD language and not of Flutter. It's easy to do, quick to do. It takes around 2 to 3 minutes to for the export. Yes, you get the designs, but sometimes there are some complications in it. It speaks more. The design that you see on the Adobe is a bit different when you see it on the Flutter. Now, if you ask me what are the issues with the traditional approach, everything has a pros and cons. So, to start up with, to learn something, if you're very new to development, yes, you can give try to all these tools, and then you will definitely see what are the flaws that it has that you can kind of achieve it. It is totally a comparison. Whatever you feel comfortable, give it a try. Someone might say, "I'm absolutely fine with Adobe, good to go." You can keep trying it. So the first couple of issues are there is no GitHub integration with whatever tools I've been talking, because at the end of the day we want to integrate it somewhere, and we want to share that code, someone can review it, or I can put it onto the public repo for forking and all that. That kind of integration is not still available. And that fine grain of control, because as a Flutter developer, we all speak the language of widget components, right? So that doesn't speak there. I know what a widget is, but Adobe doesn't know. Thunkable doesn't know what a widget is. So it doesn't speak that language. It speaks its own language of design components. So that's when this FlutterFlow really is kind of helping us. So you know Flutter, you know the components there like text, stack, row, column, container, image. So it's making our job easy. So how you have an IDE for developing a Flutter, you have an IDE or you have a tool to design applications on Flutter. And the best part it is, it kind of minimize all the flaws that we have, whether it could be plugins, whether it could be integration, whether it could be speaking the language of Flutter. So it is that easy to do in Flutter. So if I have to say, this is how the dashboard really looks like. um, it's all drag and drop. You can get the code. You can kind of focus on each and individual elements. That's how the widget tree looks like on the left side. Because in Flutter everything is a tree which is lies one below the other. The way you drag it and drop it, it kind of sticks like a stack and it kind of gives you a view. So what you get, what you are trying to achieve. It is that easy and it's instant. The alignment padding can be done on the right side, you can see that. So it is making the job really easy. Now, as I told you, the issue with the traditional approach, yes, it's not that friendly. Excellent support from the FlutterFlow team. Yes, to talk about the FlutterFlow team, they have done a excellent support, immediate request. There are tons of templates. Trust me, if I have to implement a login, I can just use that template and change the color, change the background, and I have a new set of templates for me to work on it. It's that easy. And even developing a complex app with animation is also easier. And the best part is you can download the entire source code. So the design that I take almost like for 2 days, even sometimes I've taken 3 days, I can just do it in half a day. It is that easy. So I would like to introduce FlutterFlow. It is one of the best tool to design apps for your Flutter. I would say 95% yes Flutter, 5% even if you just know what Flutter is, you can still use this tool. That's how easy it is. So it's a low code builder for native mobile applications. Simply just drag and drop things. It's for iOS and Android apps. Integration, whether it's Firebase, Stripe, payments, anything you want to do, GitHub, it's easy to do. You can also connect your code to the GitHub with a single click. You can just push the code and everything takes place. The sync happens and you can view the code in your browser or download it. So one tool to find all exactly the features that we are looking for. I think I don't see any other tool as of now in the market which is that effective. So FlutterFlow kind of justifies it. So if I have to design the screens, definitely I'm going to take 1 hour, not even 1 hour, I would say 1 day actually. In fact, if I'm very new to Flutter, learn what is widgets, how to align them, how to ensure that I get this kind of look and feel, theming, and all that. But with Flutter, these are already existing templates. So instead of a car, I could actually add some shoe or some e-commerce elements there or some accessories and just change the entire layout of it. Instead of a progress bar, I can keep the rating or I can keep a price, something like that. I can change and I can entirely modify because every component or every element on this page is editable. That is how easy it is. So as I mentioned, creating pages is really simple. All I have to do is just choose the widget that I want, drag and drop, and then I have that widget tree, home pages, or I have the Firebase also connected, and then I have a local state, and then a setting, API configurations, project media, add the upload all my images here, and when I download it, I get a folder called assets, and everything gets added there. So it's that easy to maintain and use this tool. And you can also see devices there, iPhones. There are almost 20 to 30 devices where you can view as to how your design would look in on those particular emulators. So tell me, where do you find these kind of design tools? So I think the best way to use is try with FlutterFlow. So before trying on FlutterFlow, there is a unique link given to you. I think Arpita or Akanksha might ping you on the chat. Try logging in using that particular link. You get a discount because you guys are a student. So create an account. It's free, and use the link that I've provided and start using it. So coming onto this screen, if I have to view the code, as I told you, I have to just click on view code, and whatever code you see here is what you do while developing a Flutter app. So even screen by screen, I can see this. This is already a predefined template, and you can see how I can hover over a particular element and it takes me to that particular line of the code. And I just want to edit it, I can do it. Change the color, I can do it. Anything, change any of the components, I can do it. So the best part about template is about reusing it and with the different things, right? And there is also yeah, different screens. So I just click on that particular component, I change the center from end, then you can see how it kind of shifted. And yeah, then it goes to the code part again. So this is how the canvas area looks like. You have a dashboard, you have a UI builder. The Flutter Flow actually speaks the language of Flutter. I'm just going to repeat this as, if you're a Flutter developer, I don't have to learn a new language again to design an app or learn a tool or something. Someone who's done this actually knows in and out of Flutter. That's when they really thought the pain point of a Flutter developer, and then they came up with this tool. So they knew what are the things that we really need: API calls, Firestore, custom functions, settings, and integrations. If I want to integrate Stripe payment on my app, I need a payment to be added to it. How do I add it? So they thought about it. Okay, why don't we integrate it by adding it a button, and just by drag and drop and adding few security keys and registrations, I'm able to integrate it in my app. And then the same thing, like creating components, tabs, properties. So they made it everything so that it's really easy for you to use. And as I told you, it's a drag and drop. So how you can see the images, I'm dragging and dropping one below the other, and it's that easy. If I had to do the same thing, you know how much it takes. I have to create a row column widget, then I have to add image widgets, then align, and then you can see the settings, the widget property panel, where I can kind of add animations to it, or even I can add the padding, visibility. So you can see those kind of properties I can do in Flutterflow in minutes. And I wouldn't say even minutes, seconds. You can just play around and you can see what all you could work on it. So few features about Flutterflow. Yes, widget component you must have seen, Firebase, actions and API calls, customization, which is very important because I don't want to use the same template. The template would be for booking app. I want to use it for e-commerce. Just with few clicks, few drag and drop positions, I can change this. Advanced functionality, I'll let you know in a couple of seconds what are these functionalities. And then deploying. At the end of the day, I'm able to design something awesome, but I'm not able to download that and use it in my IDE, then it's a total waste. I have to think how to use it, how to redraw it again. No, but Flutterflow, the entire code gets downloaded for you in seconds, and you can get this project integrated in your IDE and also on your GitHub. Now we also have template pages and components. A few more description about it. So we have extensive library of pre-designed templates like login page, booking page. So usually if you see, every app these days have a splash screen in the beginning. The moment you download your app, you have an three or four to four screens explaining what these apps are. Why would you even sit and think about designing something when you already have a template? Just use them and then think about the login page. Login, you have like 10 to 15 types of login. Hardly everybody's going to use the same type. Only thing is the color, the theme, the images, the text might change. The rest all remains the same, right? So similarly, adding a page, it's as I was talking about the template. Now you can see how we could choose a ton of templates and see if I just want to add a descriptive instead of a coffee name, I just want to add something else. I could do it, and that's easy. That's how easy it is to use. Change the image, get it done. So it's really versatile, modified as per our requirement, which is very important. And everything is a kind of a widget stack. It's like explode, just like in Flutter, how it is. So components are predefined portions of widgets. So you must know what components are. Now, how what do you say in Flutter widgets? The same thing are components here they use. So you can also see here how pages are created. Again, a social login page. So I can either create it something from the empty and then add components here. So I can drag and drop components and say add it as a column. So if I have to integrate the same thing in a normal IDE, you know how much it's going to take time. But here we have these components already available, like switch, notification, calendar. These kind of features are readily available. I don't even have to think about packages to use extra packages to be added. So so as I told you, if I want to add a card layout with some button and some text, I can just drag and drop this. These kind of templates are available. Even if you want to create something, you can do it. Custom components, that's where custom components come. So these are also some of the predefined templates. The project name, the example that you're seeing, it's a very trending kind of a card where I have colors on the left side and the names on the right. So this kind of a model, if I have to create, I'm going to take some time. But these all are readily available. Just drag and drop and use them. Similarly, Firebase. Integrating Firebase and FlutterFlow is really simple. So all you have to do is click on the Firebase integration, enter the project details. But before that, just wanted to show you how to add a card layout. Just adding the card part, and inside the card, how do I add a column widget? And inside the column widget, how do I make sure that it gets kinds of stretched out? And then I add an image. So this is how we, if I have to get something throughout, so you could see that I could change the image so quickly, add a text, to change the text. The same thing if I'm a Flutter developer, doing it step by step takes a lot of time, right? And I would say even to work on this, you need a little bit of knowledge on Flutter to start up with. Once you get the drill of it, then you're good to go. So when you're creating a Firebase, I mean, you create a Flutter projects, then you create a Firebase project, the same thing happens, right? So the same approach is used here so that you have your FlutterFlow app directly connected to your Firebase. So all you have to do is create the Flutter project here on the FlutterFlow, then create a Firebase project, enable access, just few clicks. Then once you're done with it, configure the Firebase, copy the project ID, generate the config files, and then set up. That way, you don't even use an IDE here. All you have is Flutterflow and Firebase, and still it kind of gives you a feel of a real app working here. So that is how integrations with Flutterflow really works. So these are a couple of examples that you can see the view code part, and just to give you a gist of it, how the code looks, and the email address part. So you can see you can completely edit, do all kinds of modifications. So as I told you, what are the kind of integrations I can have in Flutterflow is you have Stripe, you have Revenue Capped, you have Algolia, you have even Code Magic here, GitHub, few more to mention. Now, if you ask me what is this Algolia, it's the search. If you want to add a search and you want to add some powerful integration search tools, you can use this, which is readily available. And Code Magic definitely for the deployment of your app to the Play Store directly from Flutterflow. You can definitely do that as well. Stripe, you want to add some kind of payment. Revenue Cat is also another in-app purchase, and the subscriptions are like a breeze. You can just do it in fingertips, just few seconds, and you're good to go with that kind of a subscription. So coming to the release part, definitely, I think a couple of weeks back they kind of released every tool that they build or any tech stack that you follow. You'll always have to keep yourself up to date with the release, whether it's Flutter or Dart. They kind of supported for multi-language. It's just not English. They supported few more languages. Um, at the first, I think in 2.10 release, actually, they kind of brought Windows support, right? So they kind of created the multi-language support, the desktop, 50 more components were added. Remember, we had that Google, Facebook login or components like that. They added 50 more components, and they also added Google Translator that kind of works magic, and then a PDF viewer also to this. So these are the kinds of updates Flutterflow is doing. So definitely do check out. And as I suggested, use this link to create an account. It's free. Students get some discount. Let me know if you have any issues creating one. I think it's very important to explore something, try it out, see how it works, and take the good part of it and see how you can come up with innovative solution. I'm not going to say you have to use this tool. No, give it a try and see, because that's how people explore new things and see come out of that boundaries and explore things, right? And I'm sure I'm just going to freeze the screen for a couple of seconds. Arpita and Akanksha would have given you all my social handles. So you can get me connected on any of these links for further questions or further connections, anything that you would like to know, or the work that I've done. So whatever you see on my channel, my YouTube, you can find them here. And that's it. So I think by today's session, you must have got an idea what Flutterflow is and how cool the tool is, and it speaks the language of Flutter. And as a Flutter developer, I'm not going to spend hours or days in designing an app. Instead, my job is more on the functionality part. But yes, design thinking also, or designing process is also important. So when you're doing something, you really get to know the design aspects of it. So when you have a tool like that, why don't we explore it, or rather just stick to the whole school style of just coming up with simple screens when you can actually minimize. I've seen people writing screens with a same functionality in two screens, so I can actually kind of combine them in one screen itself. So come up with these kind of innovative thing. That's how what will make your app different from the market or the rest of the apps. Because I see to do, I have millions of apps like called to do, but how does your to do app kind of stands out different as by using these kind of innovative tools. So yeah, thank you so much. Hope you kind of had a good session, and yeah, thanks again.
Wow, that was a really informative session, Kamal ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge with us. And as a developer, I feel, really enlightened that I knew it was important to have a good UI and make it pleasing to the eyes of the user base, but I never knew that it could have been so easy to do so. So thank you so much for telling us that we can do it this way too. And I think a lot of our audience would have been, discovered FlutterFlow and will be using it in their future projects. So, yes, audience, what do you think about FlutterFlow? Will you be implementing your Flutter projects through FlutterFlow in the future? Okay, so since we, also be taking questions at the end of the session, as we said before, so we already have some questions you guys can drop in the chat box, but some people also asked them during the session. So the first question we had was from Tanu. She asked that is Flutterflow officially created by Google?
No, it's not created by Google. It's being developed by a few of the Flutter developer. um, I don't know if they really worked for Google or not, but Google kinds of was really happy with the kind of work they did, and they kind of endorse it. but I don't think it's developed or by Google as such. But it is by developers like you and me.
Okay, so that's really nice. Maybe someone can also, create from our audience. They can get inspired from Kamal and create something similar in the future, and we'll be using that. So let's hope so. And the next question is from Tanu as well. How is FlutterFlow different from Flutter? I guess Kamal Ma'am has already answered that during the session. Anything else you would like to add, ma'am, in this?
Yeah. I would say, to be very simple, precise, FlutterFlow is a designing app tool exclusively for Flutter. So whenever you have to design something, you need to give that to a designer, UI, UX person to do it, and then kind of grab all that code. But this code speaks the language of Flutter. So you keep these two tools before you start something, like the IDE, like how you keep IDE for developing something, keep FlutterFlow for designing the app, integrating things, testing it. You have a proposal, you have an idea. Say, for example, simple, I would say, you have an hackathon coming and you want to present your Flutter idea to someone, but you don't have the functionality still working. This is the best tool that you could actually use. Design everything, show them the demo of it, the dummy way of telling things. Okay, when I click here, it's going to navigate to this screen. Payment is going to happen. Thank you. But nothing is going to happen in the background. It's not live, it's not working, but still it gives you that feel that yes, something is working. So those kind of things can be used. Flutterflow could actually be used for.
Okay, that's a really great example for students as well because we generally do keep participating in hackathons and stuff. So thank you for the idea, ma'am. And next question is from Mohit. He says that he has created an account and what are the next steps that we have to follow?
Okay, create an account. If you already know what Flutter is, you've created apps, you're good to go. Start creating projects, dive deep into it, create templates. Or if you don't know, if you don't have an idea, just use a predefined templates and start modifying it and see publishing it, how it works. If you're very new to Flutter, then I would suggest go through some Flutter tutorials, understand what widget components are, Flutter tree is, all those stuff, and then come to it. I would say give a week or 2 weeks time, and then you might be good to go with FlutterFlow.
Okay, Mohit, we hope that answers your question. And another question from Tanu. Is FlutterFlow only used for prototype apps?
No. If you ask me, Adobe with Flutter plugin, yes, it's a prototype, but FlutterFlow on its own, it's not a prototyping app. You can connect to real life. What do you say? All the payments, Firebase, and even I can connect to the publishing of the app, Code Magic, Action, CI/CD tool. So it's a tool where you can develop app. But if you really want to go in a very professional way, companies will not use Flutterflow, right? So they will use their IDE with more task oriented. So if you are an individual contributor working on an app for a startup company, you have an app with a group of 5 to 6 people, then this tool is definitely a tool. But if you're working in a corporate companies with a huge number of employees, then they will not use this unless if it's licensed from them. It is, then definitely you can use this. There is no need of IDE itself. But if you're a person who works on a IDE more, then you'll have to download this code and then work on it. That's how it is little different.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, for answering the question. Do we have any other questions from the audience? Also, people are having some difficulties with the links. We'll be sharing all of that in the description as well, and we will also share all of Kamal ma'am's socials. So no worries regarding that. Okay, so let's wait for questions. In the meantime, I would like to ask Kamal ma'am about how, like in general, because you also had International Women's Day recently. So I would just like to ask Kamal ma'am that how her experience has been in the industry during last 12 years that she has been working.
Oh, definitely a good question. And I don't think I can answer it like in even 5, 10 minutes. It might take even a day for me. but just to give you a brief overview of it, things are changing. Never stick to one thing. Come out of the nutshell. I think it kind of relates to a lot of things. So don't stick to one technology. Just keep on reading. Be flexible enough, because I started as Java developer, then web, then mobile, Android, Flutter. Now I'm into Harmony OS. Tomorrow I might be into something else, because it's been kind of predicted that whatever we are doing right now manually, the coding part and all that, it will be taken by robots, AI. So you don't even have to do all this. 10 years back, if I have to create a project, it was all like step by step I had to take, but these days everything is drag and drop. So in another 5 to 10 years, things are going to change rapidly, where it's going to be completely no code. Everything would be done by machine. Only thing is, few things of analysis functionality is what a developer would be doing. So things are going to change. So be open to accept changes. That is something which people do not accept at first. They say, why should I learn that? Why should I change? I'm doing it, I'm happy, let me stay here. No, you'll have to keep changing. So 10 years back, things were different. Now it's totally different. 10 years after this, it's again going to be different. You need to have that attitude to accept change. That is what I would say. The rest all falls in place.
That was a great answer, and also kind of a warning to people like me who, work with machine learning and artificial intelligence. So we'll keep that in mind too. We'll have to look for something else. So I think our audience, we are done with the questions. Any closing comments from you, Ma?
Nothing. Just explore the tool, see if it fits you. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me. I think Arpita and Akansha will kind of give you all my social handles, and yeah, looking forward to see your work using this particular tool, and seeing how you can come up with innovative solutions. And next, thank you so much for this entire team for giving me an opportunity to talk to you guys, and really share my experience, which is very important. And thank you so much. You guys have a wonderful day. That's it.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for firstly, coming here and giving the session with us, educating our audience, and also the session has not only been informational but also inspirational. So thank you so much for that, and it was great hosting you. Thank you so much to the audience for tuning in today, and also to our team, obviously, GDSC Kalindi, and all of the GDSCs that we're collaborating with. So that's it for today. We'll be looking forward to seeing you in our future sessions as well. And thank you so much, Kamal ma'am, for being here with us. Thank you.